everyone. Welcome to the FFL Empowerment Power Talk podcast. Today, we are very fortunate to have our very own Jennifer Cornell here in the podcast room with us. Say hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
So, guys, what we're going to be talking about today is the importance of taking the emotion out of your business. You hear a lot of different trainings about the roller coaster, and all of that is just riding the emotions of this business. And Jennifer's been with us for about 3.5 years now. And would you say it would be fair to say that in the beginning you were very emotional about all of the business?
Yes.
Yes.
Very emotional.
So let's start with the phone, because that's where everybody is new, gets going, is on the phone. That's everybody's first struggle. So let's talk about the emotions with that and then what you had to do to work your way around it.
Sure. So in the beginning, I was very happy and very upbeat when I dialed. So I had a really rude awakening on my first dial day. I got told I sounded like a cheerleader, and I needed to sound pissed off and bothered. And I thought, I'm not going to change myself. This is who I am. And then, dial day 2 and it came around, and you learn to change yourself because you want to be successful here. And it's really important to look around at the people that you're with and listen and plug in and not try to reinvent the wheel. So I really had to learn quickly to change my tone, how I spoke, and the words that I said. And I had to find something that was comfortable for me to learn on the phones so that I could sound that way.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. And then how about the emotions of dialing and all of the fun that can come with dialing, the hang-ups, the people that say not so nice things and all of that. So let's talk about overcoming that as well.
I used to get really offended when people would hang up on me or, say very inappropriate things on the phone to me. And I took it very offensive and very personal because they were things I would never say to somebody else. And I thought, how could somebody talk to me like that? And I was very emotional about it. And I'm just a naturally emotional person. When I do things, I do them 100%. And I treat people the way I would expect to be treated. And when you're out in the world, you don't get that. And so I had to figure out how to take that emotion part out of it. And the main thing that I had found is that I just had to call more people. So I bought more leads and I called more people and I made more appointments. And so when it came time to getting hung up on, it was like, fine, I'll go to the next one and then the next one. And eventually you're going to book appointments. As long as you keep at it, you're going to book enough appointments. And then when you come time to run those appointments, it's just natural part of the business. We have no shows. We have people that don't open the door when we get there. That just means we get to go to the next one. Or bonus, we get to eat lunch in between appointments. So it really does help take the motion out of it when you have enough leads and you have enough appointments. It's just call the next one, go to the next one. And out of, when you're booking appointments, if you get 10 per day, out of 20 people, certainly a few handful of those are going to say yes. And then it makes it all worth it. Those are people that were not protected before and their families that we got to help.
Very good point. And let's talk about the lead buying process. Probably should started there, but that's okay. I do remember for you, that was also very stressful and emotional. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the way you had to have your husband's help.
Yeah, I had a really hard time wrapping my brain around using the equivalent of a car payment to purchase enough leads. And there was many times I would load up my cart and I would look at my husband and I'd say, I can't hit checkout. And he said, well, I'll do it for you. And he would go and hit checkout. And then I would take a big, deep breath like, oh, it's done. And it's already done. And I guess I'm just going to have to call those people tomorrow. And that's just how it went for a little while until you get the ball rolling and you just continue to reinvest in yourself.
And I think what you just said is so critical. It's an investment. It's an investment in yourself, and it's an investment in your business. And you cannot really have success. I mean, you look at any business out there, whether you take a Chick-fil-A, if they don't invest in buns and chicken, they're not making any money.
Mm-mm.
If we don't invest in leads, we aren't either. But it is stressful in the beginning, and it can be very hard to do. And hopefully, everybody does have a good support system at home to help with that. But definitely, I remember that, and I also remember when it became easier for you, and he did not have to push the button anymore.
No, I push them all the time now. And if I'm not having a great dial day, I'll go in and push the button some more. So we have complete control over our business here.
There you go. Very important. And let's also talk about work spots and how that coupon makes you even happier to push the button.
Oh my gosh. We get so much more for what we can invest in. And it helps new agents as well, which is really nice, because it helps maximize their success rate in the field when they have that many leads to learn from right off the bat. And, some people, they bring what they can. Some people are very fortunate. Others may not be. But we are able to at least help put people in a much better position.
You're exactly right. It does stretch our investments so that we have more to work with. And when you're new, that can be a critical piece.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I also know there have been many times, especially in the beginning, where you would be very unhappy with people no-showing you, porching you, but even more so when you would leave a home without helping somebody because you really needed that. So that's another area where if you let your emotions take control, you really can lose the focus of helping the next family. If you've left a home without helping them and you let it just bring you down, then it's going to impact your ability to help everybody else on your schedule that day. So let's talk a little bit about how you handled the emotions of the field.
So when I was in the field, I used to think I needed to make this worth it because I was leaving my home for the day. It's my safe space and my happy space. And everybody there loved me. And I didn't want to go out into the world and, get told no. And I would have hard days and my husband would say, you're just out there sowing seeds. It's not always a no, it's just not right now. And maybe some people did have to think about it. We do have people that have to think about it. And so that was always really a good way to keep my mind straight. And here you really do have to understand that you're going to attract what you put out there. And if you think that that person's not going to be there when you get there, that's exactly what's going to happen. You have to understand that you have to stay positive. I do a lot of work to make sure that that happens. I do a lot of affirmations. I do a daily devotional every day. I say a lot of prayers. I make sure that I have my mind in the right space to be able to help these families, because if my cup is empty, I'm not going to be able to fill up anyone else's. So when I leave a home and I haven't helped them, it hurts. So I do a lot of work to make sure that my cup is full so that when I go out in the field, I can help all these families and fill up their cups.
Very good point. Very good point, because they are counting on us. And if you have let what happened in the last one affect what's happening in the next one, it's
not going to work.
It doesn't work. Exactly. Exactly. And, the mindset is a critical part of this. And I'm glad that you mentioned that as well, because I believe that is one of the main things that has helped me stay off the roller coaster. There are lots of ups and lots of downs in this business, and a lot of them are self-inflicted, to be honest. But you are your own solution, right? And everyone needs to take the time to invest in keeping your mind as positive as it can be, to always be in growth mode, to compete against yourself, not others. I want to be a better me today than I was yesterday. And that type of thing helps me a lot. And, every now and then we will go out in the field and we will meet with families, and we won't be able to help anybody. There are people, that we really just roll a zero, if you will. And I think in that case, typically most of us have appointments the very next day. It's almost like it self-corrects, and we're able to go out and we're able to protect a lot of families. That's always our goal when we meet with someone, to just leave them in a better position than we found them. So it can be very hard when we aren't able to do that. And if you aren't able to do that multiple times during the day,
it makes it very hard.
It sure does. And so let's talk about the magic of the last appointment.
Yes, we always go to the last appointment. We find ourselves in situations sometimes, and, we wait for certain clients, and then we get there and they're still not home after they said they were going to be there. And, we really have to, sometimes we have to tap into that the field owes you. And that makes me feel better. Like, I'll get it sometime. I'll get this time back that I just spent waiting. But always go in your last appointment, because it really is like the magic appointment, especially after a day that you haven't helped as many families as you hope to. Just having that, sometimes that appreciation from that family is all that you need to make sure that it goes into the next day. Just being appreciated, knowing that you've helped somebody, it just makes you sleep better at night. And we have great clients. We have great people that appreciate us and love that they've put their trust in us.
Yes, and that is a very rewarding part of what we do, is to realize the relief a lot of times that we bring them, because they've been worried. They've been worried about what type of position their family would be in without any coverage, and then we can go in and help. And there are a lot of people who think, they even tell me on the phone, I can't get coverage. I'm like, oh, yes, you can. So give me 15 minutes and we will get you some coverage. And so that feels really good when we're able to do that. So any last piece of advice for being able to control and take out the emotions? I mean, I guess we can't completely remove them, but in controlling it so that you can treat this like a business.
It really comes down to buying plenty of leads, even when it's uncomfortable. I am the queen of uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable, so much that I needed my husband to help. Buying enough leads and making all of the appointments and not quitting. And once you do those two things, the rest just falls into place.
That's good advice, because I'll tell you, once you've worked really hard to fill up your schedule, even if you're not having the day you were hoping to have, it's very hard not to continue, because you work so hard to book them. And you know that they need you. You know there is somebody that day that you're supposed to help. So very good. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. And guys, that is another episode of the Empowerment Power Talk. We'll see you soon.